Hello, Chris Raptus Real Estate. Welcome to episode 51. Greetings. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. It's Monday morning madness today. You might be sitting in traffic. You might be on the toilet. You might be reading a book. You might be not wanting to go to work today. But this is a very important week. And it's basically predominantly revolving around the Fed meeting and the FOMC meeting. Cheers, on Wednesday with Jeremy Powell. And basically, why is this so important? Well, they say when China sneezes, we catch a cold. But when America says jump, we say how high. And why we say that is because whatever America does, Australia follows suit, right? And I've been holding back from doing some videos over the last couple of days because there's been a lot of political turmoil. We've seen what's happened with Charlie Kirk in America. We've seen stabbings on trains in North Carolina. We've seen mass riots of millions and millions of people in London. And we've seen the media say that only hundreds of thousands of extremists and left-wing loonies have been taking the streets, which is not true. People have had enough. They've had enough of high prices of not just their property, but their gas, their petrol, their supermarket bills, eggs, you name it, prices have gone up, right? But wages haven't. So what is so important about Wednesday's meeting? Well, the reason that it's so important is that the US government, right, has paid $1.2 trillion in the last 12 months on interest on their revenue. So what that means is that a quarter of their income is going to interest. Now, the government doesn't do anything for our benefit. The only reason that they're putting so much pressure, and when I say they, it's the Trump, establishment, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Jeremy Powell and the Fed to cut rates because the borrowing costs that the government is incurring is astronomical. Right, so the only reason that they want to drop the rates and the pressures there is because it's costing the government a shit ton of money, right? And that's why they've opened up the borders. That's why they've let the migrants in, because they're trying to make up for lost revenue with COVID. It's not working because people have had enough. People are rioting. There's political turmoil out there. Look what's happening in France, Nepal, to name a few, right? So now what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to drop the rates. And as we know, it's a sugar hit. It stimulates the property market, which is what I've been saying. And here's some interesting statistics that I'm going to spitball out to you right now. So since 1975, only 6 times has the S&P risen 30% or more in 5 months, right? 2025 is one of those years. Now, another interesting statistic is 20 out of the last 20 times that the Fed has cut rates, the S&P has been at record prices, and the S&P has rallied about 13.9% in that year. So what that means is, given the historical data that we've seen, and we're only going on historical data, and again, none of this is financial advice, you do your own research. It helps with the channel. Like, retweet, share, whether you're on Insta, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. We have a YouTube channel, Raptus Realty. Make sure to check us out, leave a comment. Always open to positive feedback, or start the debate. Tell us what you think. Is there going to be a rate drop? Is there not? But, another interesting statistic is 50% of the households in the US own 2.5% of the wealth. So what it means is that the gap between the rich and the poor, so to speak, right, is going to widen once again. So again, this is all due to the Fed meeting on Wednesday and the FOMC meeting with Jeremy Powell. Hate him or love him, he's kind of a heart surgeon at the moment. He's got everyone's heart in his hands. And what it means for households, well, it means a lot. It means, higher property prices for starters, and it means that we're going to be spending less money on interest rates, right? On a 0.25% basis drop, you could be saving anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000-3,000 a year just in interest repayments. It's a lot of money, right? It's money that people can put towards a holiday. It's money that they can put towards their school fees, grocery shopping, etc. It goes back into the economy. It doesn't go into the greedy, is that enough greedies? Hands of the bankers, the fat cats that are controlling this country. Now, if you don't think America has a stronghold or a foothold or an influence in Australia, I just seen that a US equity firm has paid $300 million for the resort at Ayers Rock. Now, we're not even allowed to climb Ayers Rock anymore because it's sacred land, fair enough. But $300 million for a resort in the Northern Territory, it's a lot of dough. But you won't see the media reporting on that. What you will see is fake news and making us believe that they care about us, which they don't. The only reason that they want to drop the rates is not for inflation, not to help the little guy and girl or struggling families or small businesses. It's to help the government ease the pain of the interest that they're borrowing or the payments that they're making on the interest. And as I pointed out today, a quarter of the debt or the income is going to debt in the US. So of course, they want to drop the rates to the floor. It'll stimulate the economy. It'll widen the gap between the rich and the poor, which means that at the end of the day, property prices are going to continue to push on up. It's going to be harder for people to get into the property market. And the reason I say that is because when they drop the rates, it means that the borrowing capacity will go up. It can be anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 of borrowing capacity that goes up when the interest rates are dropped by 0.25 basis points. So this will be, or maybe, the biggest and the first rate drop from the Fed. And we're all on knife's edge here, waiting to see what that decision is and how that's going to impact the property prices of Australia, especially in Adelaide. If you're watching, a lot of my viewers that view and comment on my posts here are from Adelaide, Australia, and what it means for them if they're in the property market. It means that they're going to continue to build their nest egg, to increase their wealth as prices continue to go up. Vacancy rates are less than 1%. We've talked about our projections for next year, whether that's 6 to 8% again of growth for Adelaide, South Australia, which again, traditionally Adelaide has not seen double-digit growth or close to double-digit growth numbers like the Eastern Seaboard. It's one of the best performing cities nationally for real estate. So you're seeing a lot of investors come in and buying properties from interstate, whereas Adelaide hasn't predominantly been on the forefront of investment for investors, right? It's always been on the Eastern Seaboard because they just can't lose. Whenever they buy a property, it just goes up, and they end up selling it for more than what they paid for the year after. It's a no-brainer. The chart goes like this. Property prices have continued to skyrocket unless there's a black swan event that we don't see coming, and then what ends up happening is the whales come in and buy properties anyway because they're in a cashed up position and they're just waiting for a dip to come in and scoop up those properties. So don't get shaken out. Make sure you implement a good property manager. If you're taking advice from any real estate agent, make sure that they've been in the industry for a certain period of time. Make sure you're getting a competitive rate. There's some brilliant agents out there that give good service, that are selling lots of properties and getting great prices. I can probably count on my hand the number of agents that fit that criteria, that are decent, good, hardworking, present offers, give good service, know what they're talking about, and then I can put the rest of the other real estate agents in the other bag. Unfortunately, it just comes to inexperience of not seeing booms and busts, and not seeing case scenarios, and just not being in a position of understanding different properties, different areas, and just giving bad advice, and then that just unfortunately comes with experience. So if you've been in the game like me for 20 years, you kind of can pick the play. I've set up offices all across Australia. I've seen, what the property markets can do in the Eastern Seaboard. I've come back to Adelaide to implement what I've learned in my hometown and give service and give back to you guys, my community. And I just want to thank my clients for watching. I do love doing these videos. I do them for you. I do them for myself because they also get me motivated as well in the morning. And I know it's Monday morning and some of you may not want to get out of bed today, but keep pushing on. Don't give up. Don't get shaken out of your property prices, and make sure you choose a good real estate agent. Catch you on the next one. Let's see what happens on Wednesday. Look forward to reporting live to you. Be positive. Don't let all the political turmoil shake you out, and let's be positive. That's what all these videos are about. Keep keeping on. See you on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.